All right. Happy Friday, everybody. We're going to be talking about the Ocala real estate market. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things, what's trending, what's not, properties that are selling, and the number of properties. We're actually going to go back and look at the last 10 years and look at the average sales price of properties in Marion County, Ocala. That's going to be super interesting. A lot of people asking which direction the market is going. So we're going to talk about that. And feel free to connect with me. Obviously, my email address is here. Usually don't post that, but I think a lot of people like to email, so I'm posting that today. And of course, if you have questions, you can leave it in the chat, or you can call me at 352-572-3796, 352-572-3796. Also, if you're curious about all the properties that are on the market, doesn't matter where in Marion County, whether it's Ocala, whether it's the Villages, whether it's Bellevue, Denellen, anywhere in between, whether you're looking for a farm, you're looking for large farm, small house, condo, whatever it is, you can find it at buymidflhomes.com, buymidflhomes.com. That's our site. And you can actually search for properties pretty much from Gainesville all the way through Ocala, through the Villages, through Orlando, all the way to Tampa and south along the coast. So you can look at a lot of different things. So it doesn't matter where you are, you could actually go to that site and search. So if you have questions, let me know. And if you also just are curious and you just want to know what's going on, even if you're not thinking about buying, or if you're not even thinking about selling, you're just curious to see what's going on in the market, it's a good idea to check that out. So let's jump into it. Let's look at what is happening in the Ocala Marion County real estate market. We've seen a lot of changes, obviously, over the last 2 years, but more specifically, 2022 has been really interesting because the beginning part of 2022 was very similar to 2021, with the market just being absolutely bananas. Properties just going through the roof, prices going up, and also the number of properties that have sold actually went up as well. Up until March. March seemed to be a peak of some sorts as far as the number of properties that are selling. But what I'm sharing with you right now, you're looking at the average sales price in Marion County according to MLS. And what's interesting to me is, like, I got my license back in the year 2000. I've been selling from 2000, obviously, through now. Started Realty Executives back in 2004. So it makes me laugh because I remember, properties being, you could easily find a 3-bedroom, 2-bath somewhere in Marion County for $40,000 or below. And the average sales price back then was just under $80,000. But looking at 2012, if you look at these 2012 numbers, which is when, we got out of the real estate depression, so to speak, $103,000 average January of 2012. Okay. And then obviously if you scroll over and you look at 2017, $152,000 average sales price, and 2018 very similar, 2019 up 176, and then 2020, when things really took off, 191 in January, but things started to take off in that middle part of the year, and then really taking off in 2021, where you're seeing 232,000 average sales price, and then another big jump this past year. So we saw 2 really big jumps, one little jump, the little jump from 2018 to 2020, and then the big jump from 2020 to 2021 at 232,000, and then 2022 277,000 average sales price. Now, the one thing I'm really pointing to right now with a lot of people is taking a look at the month of July for a couple of reasons. The month of July is very interesting because, this obviously shows the average sales price jump. If you look at 2018 July, 182,000, and then you're looking at 2022, 321,000 average sales price. That's the most that we've ever seen as far as average sales price in Marion County. So, when we're looking at numbers, and I always think, the person that knows the numbers is the person that really you should be, doesn't matter who you're with or where you are around the country. That should be one of the criteria that you use in selecting the best, the best agent, the best salesperson, that's I think you ought to use, right? Like the person that's most knowledgeable about the marketplace. But looking at this year, the only month that was not over 300,000 was the month of January. Every other month has seen a jump up in average sales price, obviously now over 300,000, well over 300,000, and we're looking at 321,000. So that I think is really fascinating. So, what that tells us is obviously it's still a good time for sellers. Like average sales price is still high. It's a little bit deceiving in a way. We can't just use average sales price as an indication as how good the market is, but it does tell us that prices have, pretty much have steadily climbed, and in my opinion have leveled off a little bit. So you can't really use average sales price as an indication as to what's happening at the moment, but you can look at it historically and really get an indication where we've come from, and obviously appreciation over the years that you can use, and that's something that would help you understand what the market is doing. So now let's look at the next thing I want you to look at is I want us to look at like the number of properties that actually have sold. So we're going to look at number of properties. So we're going to look at sales we're going to look at the last 10 years, and we're going to look at the number of properties that have sold in each month over the last 10 years. That's going to tell you another story. So it's a little bit of a balanced story as far as Marion County real estate and Ocala. And it's going to help you understand why I'm going to say it's actually a really good time for both sellers and buyers. So let's take a look at this. So if we're looking at the number of properties that are selling, let me blow this up for you so you can see this a little bit better. And now you're looking at the numbers from 2012 all the way through 2017. And you see that, 2017, we saw 796 as a high back in May of 2017. And then if you start looking at, more modern times, the last 5 years, you're going to start to notice something a little bit different. Okay. We're going to look at that now. So let me scroll down. So you start seeing numbers like 2018, 498, like incredibly low in January, 516, 635. Like January is typically a lower selling month because of the holidays, traffic being a little bit slower. But you look at some of the numbers in 2021 where we saw numbers of 900, 1,000 properties in June, 1,030 in June, 1,061 in April. And then, 800, if you probably were to take the average, probably talking about closer to 900 overall for 2021. Then you're looking at 2022, slight difference. So let's look at July of 2022, 783 homes selling in 2022. That's down from the lowest. It's the lowest since 2018. So that's the good news, bad news story here. So 783 is the lowest amount, obviously less than 2021, 925, less than 2020 at 813, 2019, 873. Basically what this tells us is this: less unit sales, right? Which is not surprising. Most of the country is seeing exactly the same thing. So less sales, but higher sales price. So prices have continued to go up. So less demand, but also inventory is still pretty light. We're still looking at, I think we're right around 1,900 homes on the market in Marion County, which is still, it's more than double than what we saw 6 months ago, which is we were in 800s, upper 800s, but still significantly low on the historical side, which means, we were seeing well over 3,000 traditionally in Marion County. So less inventory than usual, but still an increase in inventory over the last 6 months. Average sales price has gone up tremendously. So what does that mean for buyers and sellers? From the buyer standpoint, the negative is the prices are still holding steady. However, with less demand, buyers are actually able to get some concessions, ask for closing costs, which is what we're seeing in the marketplace. Ask for more things and be able to get away with it with less offers on the table, oftentimes not competing offers, which means that you're not competing against 5 to 6 people. You can actually make offers, and it's more of a traditional real estate market with prices being higher than what they were. From the seller standpoint, the negative is that obviously there's not competing offers. You can't drive the price up in most cases. But the good news is compare yourself to where the market was in 2017 or 2018. You have more equity right now. So the window of opportunity is very interesting. I think that with interest rates actually going down over the last week or two, the inflation numbers have actually gone down as of Wednesday of this week, slightly by 0.5%. So a lot of favorable things for both sides here. I think there's a win on the table for both buyers and sellers. But as normal, look, if you don't have to sell, don't sell. If you don't have to buy, then don't buy. But if you're motivated on either side, it's really not a bad time on either side. So if you have questions, put it in the chat. Be fabulous. I can answer any questions that you have. You can also email me here. You can visit us on our website, buymidflhomes.com. You could also connect with me at 352-572-3796, 352-572-3796 for any questions at all. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Take care.